Over the past several years, MGM has seen their most popular movies receive new restorations and transfers. And lately there have been several announcements for movies coming to 4K UHD in 2021. Could the Terminator be the next one in the line of 4K updates? There's been a lot of talk on the forums about the Terminator getting a re-release either through Blu-ray or 4K UHD. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about the possibilities about that and what are some of the barriers that are up against it. Now, who would be the one to put out the new re-release? And out of all the boutique labels, the only one that really stands out to me is Arrow. Now, the director of Arrow Video released a picture on Twitter in the month of November of planned releases in 2021. One in particular is penciled in TUHD, which could that be the 1984 classic? Potentially. TUHD could really be anything, but Arrow has put out some high-profile movies in the past several years, including RoboCop and Ronin, through MGM, and their slate, they also are coming out with Dune, Inglourious Basterds, as well as several other ones that we don't know of quite yet. Now, one thing about their 4K Blu-rays, they both either use existing masters that already came out kind of in the same way like RoboCop, or they do their own exclusive transfers like what they did with Tremors and an HDR pass. So Arrow, I think, is the most flexible in terms of doing their own HDR passes as well as doing their own remasters. Now, other boutique labels have also put out 4K UHDs from MGM titles, including Kino Lorber, who did the great Mad Max 4K UHD. But with that one in particular, that was something that the studio did the remaster and they used the existing master that they had available to them. And same thing with Criterion on Silence of the Lambs. And with Kino Lorber, they are doing a color correction on The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, but the remaster was already done. I think they said additional 30 hours is what they're doing with The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Now, Scream Factory did release several movies in 4K, but they are existing masters that have been released outside the United States, including The Deer Hunter, They Live, and Prince of Darkness. Now, the Blu-ray does look quite good, and I imagine that the 4K UHD of that same master probably would look pretty good. Now, the most I could find on that particular Blu-ray release is through this, the Festival of the Archives. This was a screening of the new remaster of the Terminator, and it does list about the restoration. And it goes into scanning and restoration and film out. Scanning restoration work was done with Reliance Media Works, formerly known as Lowry Digital. The original negative was scanned using a pin-registered scanner to produce the 4K 10-bit log DPX files. And Reliance performed nearly 800 hours of meticulous work, including image processing, quality control, and frame-by-frame touch-ups of dirt and film damage. Now, the project consumed over 40 terabytes in the greatest size, and they used Lowry Digital's proprietary restoration tools. And they also did the scanning and data managing and color correction. Color correction was done through Skip Gimbal, which James Cameron uses him for Avatar, and the sound mix uses the really bad 5.1 mix from the DVD. Now, it is unknown that if they did an HDR pass when they did the restoration, or if that is something that needs to be done, which is why I feel that Arrow Video would probably be the best company to pick that up and run with it. Another roadblock is Cameron's involvement. Now, Cameron has been noted to supervise the transfers for most of his movies, and we don't know if he needs to be involved with this, considering that he did approve the 4K transfer already, but there may be another issue with HDR pass. So I don't know if Cameron needs to approve any sort of additional thing to bring it up to speed for 4K Blu-ray. Now, there is that possibility that he could look over something now that we know that there has been a 4.5-month pause on Avatar 2 and 3's production. So he could have had time to oversee a restoration for the 4K UHD. There's another thing too that they could have scrapped it and gone with a brand new restoration altogether, which is highly unlikely, but that could be a possibility. Now, what would be a huge benefit for the 4K UHD with the added resolution and also picture quality? Well, shocker, the mono mix. The mono mix has been on every release of Terminator up until 2006 when the first Blu-ray came out. And ever since then, it's been using this dreadful 5.1 mix. Now, the 5.1 was made in 2001 for the MGM Special Edition DVD release. This mix is fairly flawed and replaced sound effects, including gun noises and overall making scenes less impactful. They also got rid of the scraping metal sound effect from the opening. Now, the whole film is filled with audio changes that plagued many DVD-era remixes that still, unfortunately, get brought over to various releases. So having an option to watch the mono mix would be a huge deal. And for those who want to use their surround sounds for an inferior sound mix, then they can have that. But having that option would be a huge benefit. And what about extras? I feel like if you port over the MGM Special Edition, as well as adding new audio commentaries, maybe a little bit of some retrospective interviews would be great. It's probably pretty hard during this era to get people involved, but we've seen with Kino that they could still get George Miller through Zoom and we can have a conversation with them. It still is really interesting. I imagine that they could probably do the same with James Cameron or Linda Hamilton, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger or Michael Biehn. It would be amazing. So that's it. What do you guys think? Do you think that a new Terminator Blu-ray or 4K UHD is on the horizon? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.